What is up, guys? It's Hubs, and I'm really sorry for the late Frontier Hunter video this time, but yesterday was a Super Metal Parade with 5 times crystal rates, so all I was doing last night was running Super Metal Parades to the point where my entire inventory is just, I have over like 100 crystals right now, and I'm just saving them all, and it was a long night for me. I even fell asleep doing Super Metal Parade. I woke up, and I was like, there's still another hour, I'm gonna do another one. So that's why this video is so late. Anyways, so this is Frontier Hunter. This video is going to contain all of entrance, middle, and end. So right now I'm running entrance, and this team I'm using right now is, I guess you could say, very high damage team. It's the combination of Michelle and Dual GX that makes this team so popular. So let's see, how do I explain this? It's a pretty standard setup that was used like in last Frontier Hunter as well. I mean, you use Douglas's for all the Brave Crystal drops and the sparking. Loden leaders. Loden's kind of like Felness, but not really. I mean, his leader skill gives a 1.2 times increase to Brave Crystal effectiveness, whereas Felness gives a 1.5 times. So he's pretty good, but not that good. Also, right now, this is really stupid of me. I'm using 2 Lodens, and I'm using 2 Douglases, so I don't even get the 50% attack boost with both of them. Wow, I just realized this right now. What a facepalm moment. Um, so basically, don't do what I'm doing right now, because I think I went into this, like, completely blind. I, like, well, I ran this at first, and then, you know, when everyone was running it at 8 p.m. PDT, it was like having unexpected errors, and the server was so unresponsive for like the first half hour that I I was like struggling running this because I ran it the first time and I didn't get my rewards, and so I just basically lost an orb. And then I ran it again, and I was just using this team. I didn't even care who I brought as a friend, I guess, because Loden's leader skill, if you don't know, it's supposed to be 50% increase to attack if you have 5 different elemental units in your team. So I should have brought like, I don't know, some other friend like a Tiara or a Melchio friend. That way I could have had 5 different element types in my squad, and then I would get the boost. But anyways, I didn't. It doesn't really matter though, because in entrance you only need 400,000 points to get the last reward, the Limbo Stone, which in my opinion isn't even worth it. I would just stop at like Miramasa if you can't get Limbo Stone, because Limbo Stone is like a craftable sphere, like an easily craftable sphere in the shop. Whereas like Miramasa is pretty easily craftable as well. The thing is, you need 10 of them for 5 angelic foils, so it's always good to collect them from Frontier Hunter. But yeah, so this was basically entrance. I don't know if you guys are even paying attention to the video itself, but this is the last stage, and as you can see, I guess I more than, is that 600k or 800k? I think that's 800k. I basically more than doubled what you need to get the last reward. And this is what you should expect with the team like this. I mean, I might have gotten way more points if I just ran like Zebra Mare combo with Douglas's, Michelle, and GX. Just because damage is like worth so much right now. I believe even better than Sparks. And Frontier Hunter is kind of moving away from as many Sparks as it is going to damage, I guess, now. Just because, like, for example, in Terminus now, a lot of the stages are 2 enemy unit stages. So you're just going for like high damage now, I guess. I don't know. I'm actually scoring less in Season 6 than I was in Season 5, just because there's so many less units now. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's still pretty similar to the previous season. Anyway, this video is moving along, and I'm going to tackle middle for the first time. And I'm still using another Loden friend. Wow. Kind of want to go back in time and like slap myself across the face. Oh, well, I guess that's why. I think I changed my squad at some point. Is that a Melchio? Yeah, so I removed a Douglas and I have a Melchio. Oh, I'm using a Zebra now as well. Oh, I guess I was like, oh, maybe I can get more points if I just use a Zebra and do more damage instead. So I'm running a Breaker Zebra leader right now, and I'm pretty sure my spheres are something like Geld Knight Axe, Masamune, Wicked Blade, Heavenly Bud, Steeple Rose. So if you didn't know, like, actually on Brave Frontier Pros, there was like a post about what combination of Zebra and Mare plus what items is actually the strongest. And the strongest combination you can possibly get right now is, you know, a Breaker Zebra, a Breaker Mare, and you give everyone Heavenly Buds. Heavenly Buds, if you don't know, they're high level arena reward, somewhere in the 400,000s, and it gives you a 100% increase in damage while sparking. Steeple Rose is 50% increase. So obviously anyone who has a Heavenly Bud right now, there's only one available, and it's in Arena. and it give you the most damage. Other than that, like the next one that falls behind that is Geld Knight Axe, which um, increases your critical rate greatly and then doubles your critical hit damage. So that's right after Steeple Rose, I believe. So I'm basically just using like all the high level Rhinospheres right now in this team, and just trying to do a lot of damage here right now. I know I'm not using a Mare Friend because I didn't have one available, and I didn't want to re-roll until I got one, so I just stuck with Zebra, and I knew this was already going to be overkill. I knew I was already going to get way more points than I needed, but I mean the potential for even more is there, especially with a squad like this. I don't even know. Well, Douglas is really good still. I mean, he's still like one of the best users in the game. The only problem with him, though, is he is actually a really weak unit in himself. And especially because my best Douglas, I guess, is like I have 3 Guardian Douglases and 2 Lord Douglases. So, and I usually use my Guardian ones. So their attack is so low, it's like 1.2 thousand. Whereas like my Breaker Michelle is sitting at like 2.2 thousand, which is, or I guess 2,200. 2.2 thousand? 2,200. Yeah, casing numbers is hard. Um, but yeah, like he's just so much weaker in general, which is why I'm excited for Luther 6-star to come out, because Luther is basically, he's like the same thing as Douglas. Except I think his BB multiplier is higher. Like he does more damage with his BB than Douglas. And on top of that, his attack is like inherently like so much higher, almost double of Douglas's. Well, I guess not almost double, like a lot more, but not, almost double. But yeah, he does so much more damage. And then, like, the second 6-star Luther comes out, you're probably going to see very few Douglases compared to before. Unless people are trying to make, like, a rainbow team. Then Douglas is still great. And then there's Zelha. I think Zelha's pretty decent. The only difference between her and Douglas, wow, it got 1.7 mil points. That's pretty good, I guess. Getting my rewards. Gem, Zell, Burst Frogs. Yeah, I love getting Burst Frogs from here. Such a good way to collect them. Except, I mean, I don't like hoarding them as well because it gets kind of useless. So every time like I have a unit like BB-8, it doesn't matter what unit, I just use it now. But anyways, I'm going to start End, Season 6 End now. And what was I talking about before? I was talking about Zelha. So Zelha is just like another Douglas. The only difference is Douglas's SBB gives like increased spark damage for 3 turns, but Zelha doesn't. Her SBB has a chance of inflicting injury or weakness, which is really great. Like, I mean, if you have one Douglas, that's all you really need. Or you run a Luther, and Luther gives you spark damage as well. So, I mean, you could just run a Luther, you know, have the spark damage buff, and then just use some Zelhas if you want to. Because, like, injury and weakness is still pretty good, and I know at least in Frontier Hunter, in the past, pretty much every single enemy unit can be inflicted with injury or weakness, which makes your life a lot easier because then you're doing more damage to them and they're doing like almost no damage to you. That's why like Saren was so popular back then when she was the best unit, was because she inflicted, I think it was injury, so they did less damage to you, and that was so good because Saren was not the strongest unit in the game. She just had really high hits, so she could fill Brave Burst really fast. But the problem was she had such low HP. Well, her HP was okay. It was like 6,000 with Anima, and then more like 7.2k with the Medulla Gem. But I mean, it was still Frontier Hunter, and the enemies hit really hard. And every time you encountered like a Thunder or Lightning stage, it was even harder. But the fact that she had injury, so enemies would do less damage to you, was just like, it was huge. Like, it saved me from like the Falma and other Lightning guy, Lightning enemy unit stage, I guess. So many times just because like I was able to just sustain through it with like Demon Flutes and using the injury debuff. Anyways, so this is End right now. I'm at 600,000 points. Yeah, I'm still running the Zebra thing. Here we go. And a Loden friend because I didn't want to wait for a Mare friend. Yeah, pretty straightforward, I guess. I mean, entrance, middle, and end now are pretty much, I mean, if you have like Michelle's tier units, it's pretty much a joke, to be honest. And obviously not everyone has those units, but they're basically like pretty, like 5 standard units, like GX, Michelle, Loden. You have those 3, you're basically solid. Like, you might not even need a Douglas, to be honest. And Melchio's great, but I mean, in Frontier Hunter, well, Melchio's really good, but he only has a 15 hit count, whereas like you could replace him with a Douglas, because in Frontier Hunter you get 10 Pure Elixirs anyways, so like you don't actually need his like status ailment negation super brave burst. Anyways, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see, that was like 5 enemy units, so I'm gonna get probably like 300k points for that round. So like 20k from just drops. Yeah, 300k, nice. And then in end, you only need like 800,000 to get the Evil Shard. But I mean, Evil Shard isn't even that great of a sphere itself. It's like Limbo Stone now. You get too many of them, and there's like better versions of them. But the thing you really want from here is actually the Medulla Gem, which is let me see. You'll see right here how many points you need to get it. 550, 650k. So that's how many points you need to actually get the Medulla Gem. But that's it for this video, and I will see you guys next time.